Let's say that we're looking at whether or not the pulse rate of a group of people vary according to how much they smoke and how much activity they get. This is a worksheet, and each line in the worksheet includes a particular subject. And for each subject, we record a number of things, including their activity level. And this would be based on either a clinician's judgment or a person filling out a survey. Whether or not the person smokes, and it's a simple yes or no. We're not going to ask, we haven't asked how much they smoke, so we don't have any more detail on the information than that. And then we have their pulse rate. So just a quick look will tell us whether or not there's a relationship between the activity level, the person's smoking status, and their pulse rate. So this is not a designed experiment. It's just a preliminary look at whether or not these two variables have an effect on our response variable. So to analyze that with the multi-vari chart, we're going to go to the Stat menu, then down to the Quality Tools choice, and then down to the Multi-Vari choice. We're going to click that. And the response we're interested in is the pulse. And the factors we're interested in are the activity level and smoking. And we could add more factors, but for this example, we're not going to do that. Then we click OK, and Minitab goes through and quickly produces a chart that shows us the information that we're looking for. So the solid blue line represents different activity levels, and the dashed red line represents smoking status. So the lower axis shows us whether or not the person smokes. The first thing we have is no, they do not smoke. Then we have yes, they do smoke. So what Minitab's doing is partitioning the group of subjects into these two groups before it looks at the activity levels. So for the people who don't smoke, a lot of activity is represented by an open circle. Moderate amount is represented by a circle with a cross through it. And a slight amount of activity is represented by a circle with an X through it. And what we see is that there does appear to be an effect on the pulse rate of smoking. So if the person does not smoke, they have a lower pulse rate on average than the group of people who do smoke. Likewise, for the non-smoking group, people who get a lot of activity have a lower pulse rate than those who get a moderate amount, and they have quite a bit lower pulse rates than those who don't get much at all. They get a slight amount of activity. The same pattern holds true for the smokers, except that the people who smoke, on average, have a higher pulse rate than the people who don't smoke, and that's reflected easily on this chart. So at a glance, you can see the relationships between these two variables on the response variable, and we could have added additional variables had we wanted to. And a multi-vari chart is just an easy way to visualize a multivariate response, and often a simple way that you can explain to people who don't have a background in advanced statistics.